Welcome back, everybody. We're here to pull cards for December the 8th. I am going to be pulling one card for overall energy, and after that, I will pull one card for each sign, and we'll see how those energies combine to get our reading for each sign as we go through the zodiac. So it's going to be to your benefit to listen to the overall energy and all the interpretations that come with it. That way, you won't be feeling a little bit lost by the time I get to the individual zodiac signs, because I am not going to be repeating that interpretation 13 times on that video. This video, I should say. That does not make sense to me. So here we go. What is our overall energy? Let's find out. Do, 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 do. Ooh, Knight of Wands showing up in reverse. Knight of Wands in reverse talks about this idea of having a lot of energy, but scattering it all over the place. Maybe even to the point that it makes us appear flighty or, uh, yeah, I would say flighty. This is the type of person, whether this is going to be us or whether this is going to be somebody in our sphere of influence, we'll see. But this is the type of person, too, that doesn't necessarily like to make plans, because they like to wait till the very last minute to decide to do something. They want to see if any better opportunities come up before they commit to anything. So if this is somebody in our sphere of influence, this could be somebody that, best way to get them to do something is call them 20 minutes before we leave the house and say, we're going to go do such and such. Do you want to come with us? That type of thing. All right, so let's take a peek at the energies for each sign, starting with Aries. Aries, King of Wands, showing up to the Knight of Wands in reverse. Okay, so Aries, it looks to me like you are focusing on doing something that makes you feel very excited, very enthusiastic. It could be traveling, doesn't have to be. And I think you're trying to sort of put this trip together or this project together, whatever this is that you're feeling excited about, with someone else. And I think that that someone else is being incredibly vague about what part they want to play in this, or if they'll show up or what, which is making any kind of planning hard. And honestly, Aries, I don't see that you're planning like 3 months ahead or anything. I think this is all kind of the same day. And yet this person still is not. They're kind of all over the place. So that could be a little bit frustrating for you. You're going to have to decide how you want to handle this situation, but that's what I see showing up here for you. Next, we're looking at Taurus. Taurus, it looks to me like you've got somebody in your sphere of influence who is a little bit scattered with their energy. They're sort of all over the place. Maybe even in their conversation, they're kind of all over the place. And I see you kind of, trying to get away from this person, sort of on the down low. I don't think you're trying to make any announcement about getting away. I think you're just trying to find a convenient time to slip out the door. All right. Next up, we're looking at Gemini. Gemini, we have the Emperor showing up in reverse for you, combined with that Knight of Wands. Interesting energy, because this talks to me about this is telling me, Geminis, that you are trying to let our person with our flaky person uh, be a leader in some type of situation that you're involved in. And I'm going to say I'm not really expecting that this is working so well, because this person has scattered energy all over the place and they're flaky. So leadership style is a little crazy making, shall we say? So I'm not sure that that would necessarily be the best choice. As you go through the day, if you catch this happening, you may find that the best thing you can do is kind of adjust as to who is the leader in this project if you have that possibility in front of you. If you just happen to have a boss who is all over the place, um, then trying to jump through those hoops might be pretty difficult. Might be pretty difficult. It's really going to be best if you're in a situation where you can kind of take the reins here. All right, so who is that? That was Gemini. Next up, we're looking at Cancer. Five of Wands showing up in reverse. Cancer, this is interesting because it basically tells me that you're in some type of competitive situation, but your competition really is not competition. Like they can't hold a candle to you. And the reason they can't hold a candle to you is because their energy is scattered. They're not able to focus on any one thing and make progress with it. Okay. Next up, we're looking at Leo. Leo, Queen of Pentacles showing up in reverse. Interesting. This is telling me that you've got somebody in your sphere of influence who really has scattered energy, and that makes it difficult to work with them because they have no sense of focus. I think you've been very generous with this person, given this person many opportunities and many chances, but they don't seem to take them seriously because they're off doing other things a lot of times. And so I think today you're saying, you know what, I was trying to help you out, but you kind of self-sabotage, and nothing I do seems to help you. So I think you're pulling back on any kind of generosity that you've had towards this person thus far because it's just not doing anything to help them to get ahead. Next up, we're looking at Virgo. Devil card showing up in reverse. Boop, doo doo. What's happening here? Virgo, I think that you've got somebody in your sphere of influence who is acting in a really flaky way. And I think that you're a little bit afraid of making any kind of plans without them. And yet they're making planning kind of impossible if you're going to include them. I think that by the end of the day, you have decided that, you know what, it's worth it for me to make plans without them because what's happening is just too crazy making to keep going like this. All right, so next thing that we're going to look at is going to be the card for Libra. Knight of Cups coming up in reverse. Libras, I think that today it's going to be really tempting to scatter your energy all over the place and have a hard time with focusing. And I think what gets focused right out of your day is any kind of self-care because you're so busy trying to take care of a lot of other things to the point that self-care just goes on the back burner and you never get to it today. Okay. So, guys, remember too, when you get a reading like this, if you get it at the beginning of the day, you have free will. You can make my cards be liars. This is one of those situations I would like you to make my cards be liars. Find a way to prioritize self-care as well today. That's what I'm hoping you'll do after hearing this. Next up is Scorpio. Ace of Cups coming up in reverse. Scorpios, we have somebody in our sphere of influence who's just really scattered. They're putting energy all over the place. They're having a hard time focusing on any one thing. And I think that we are seeing that today. We're seeing that that's really their true colors. We may not have realized this before. And so we are seeing those true colors. And we are really, our opinion of this person is really coming down a few notches. We may have even had them on a pedestal before, and now we're realizing, nope, can't do that. Okay. Next up, we're looking at Sagittarius. King of Pentacles coming up in reverse with this Knight of Wands and the overall with also in reverse. Sagittarius, what I'm going to say is that you've got somebody here who is basically trying to shake you down for money or some kind of resource. And I'm going to say with that Knight of Wands in reverse, probably their story is changing. When they tell you something to try to get you to give them money and then you say, nope, I'll pass. Then they change their story. They've got a whole new story about why they need this money. And when you say, nope, I'll pass, then they change that story again. I think they're going to give you 3 or 4 stories probably about why they need money because they're hoping that they can wear you down and that you'll get them, they'll get you to actually hand over some money to them. What are they really going to do with it? Who knows? By the time you put it in their hand, if you do, they've probably already changed their mind about 5 times about what they're going to do with it. You get to decide what you want to do with that. All right, so that was Sagittarius. Next up, we're looking at Capricorns. All right, Capricorns. I think you have somebody who kind of flaked out on you on some kind of appointment or plans that you had before, who is coming back to you today and saying, hey, give me another chance. And I think you are giving them some other chance. Okay. Next up, we're looking at Aquarius. Aquarius, somebody in your sphere of influence who is flaky. And it has you really trying to figure out what's going on with them. Do they just not take things seriously? Do they have so much stuff going on in their lives that they just can't really show up and be in the present moment? You're really having a hard time figuring out what's going on with them. And I think you're thinking in circles about it. Next up, we're looking at Pisces. 8 of Coins showing up in reverse. Pisces, you've got somebody in your sphere of influence who really has the attention span of a gnat. And uh, I think that you're hoping that they get some kind of work accomplished today. Yeah, that's not happening. They have scattered energy. They're doing this, that, and the other thing. It looks to me like their last priority is work. All right. So that's what I've got for everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending some of your precious time with me. I do appreciate y'all. Everybody remember, y'all have free will. So if you see something that you don't like on any reading, not only mine, but anybody else's as well, you have the power to change that up by changing your decisions and how you interact with the situations. So don't feel locked in just because something shows up on somebody's table, okay? Anyway, you guys are my wonderful supporters. So thank you for putting a thumbs up on this video, sharing it out with others, and putting your feedback down below. I always love to read you guys' feedback. Everybody have a fantastic day. Peace